guys, so I am back with another video. What's up? So we're gonna get into my postpartum experience that I wanted to share with you guys because this is a long overdue video. And let's just say, like, sis, I really had a tough time adjusting to motherhood, and I know that, you know, that wasn't easy for me to admit like a couple of weeks ago, which is why I'm making this video now. This video comes at the right time for me and for you guys. So with that being said, let's get into it. So as you guys know, like, I gave birth 4 months ago to a baby boy, Gracie. Yes, my little handsome boy. And I had him via C-section. And if you guys have not watched my labor and delivery video, you need to watch it because, sis, it was a fail all the way. I was supposed to have vaginal birth and I ended up having a C-section. And honestly, that C-section really fucked me up. I remember when I first brought Grayson home, like, it was a bittersweet moment. Like, I was super happy to finally bring my son home after all these months of wondering what he's gonna look like, be like, etc., etc. When we first got home, the first few days were an adjustment because, like I said, getting to know Grayson, his sleeping schedule, his eating schedule, everything was new to me. And although we spent like 6 days in the NICU unit, like, together, it still was a learning process for me. And I was very anxious, very worried, and just like wanting to make sure that I was doing everything that I was supposed to the right way. So the first few nights I didn't really sleep. I was in so much pain, you guys. I didn't want to do anything but like literally lie down and cry. And even then that was a little too painful because the gas pains. And when I talk about gas pains, I'm not talking about, oh, I need to fart. No, sis, these gas pains was like I needed to burp and fart and shit and nothing was coming out. It was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. I would never wish that on my enemy. Like, if I ever got pregnant again, you guys, I will fight to the end of me not to have a C-section because it was that traumatic for me. I remember feeling alone and feeling like maybe I'm the only one that goes through this because when mothers talk about their first time seeing their baby, just being a mom, it's this most beautiful, loving experience, and it's just like rainbows and sunshine. But it wasn't like that for me. Mine was more trauma. I felt like when I first seen Grayson, it was an indescribable moment, but it wasn't this magical moment that people said it would be like. For me, seeing my son was like a relief. Like, he's okay. He's not crying. He's not alone. He has wonderful NICU unit nurses that are taking care of him. I was just worried about my son the whole entire time, that he was alone, scared, and just feeling helpless without mommy there. And I thought about that moment for a very long time. Like, I felt guilty. Like, I felt like it was my fault. But in reality, I had preeclampsia. And there was no way for me to determine or to control that. It was out of my hands. So, you know, I had to learn to be kind to myself. And that was the whole point of me making this video, was to show you guys, like, postpartum is very real. It's very real, but you can overcome it. And it's not easy. Sometimes you might need to seek medical attention or to speak with a therapist. But for me, I'm a very self-aware person, and I was fortunately enough able to get through it. And I have my days, don't get me wrong. It's not always, you know, a beautiful time where I'm just like stress-free or not overwhelmed. I have my days, but I'm learning how to deal with them and to talk myself into a positive state of mind. Another moment that I remember that contributed to, I guess, my postpartum depression was the fact that I was going through the worst recovery you could think of with a C-section. And you guys, if I'm not taking care of myself, how am I gonna take care of my baby? And I was so angry with myself because I couldn't focus on anything but the pain. And I knew how important those moments were with Grayson, but I couldn't. I physically, mentally could not focus on anything other than how much I was in pain. And I remember breastfeeding, well, trying to breastfeed Grayson at home, and it was not the easiest. Like, me being in pain and just him being hungry and fussy, it was just like the bottle was just the easiest way to go. And the more that I continued to feed him from the bottle, the less that he wanted to be on my nipple, which ended up in me not breastfeeding anymore. And that sucked even more because it was like, damn, like, I can't even get it right. Like, I'm already a new mom and it's like I'm already failing. I couldn't have a vaginal birth like I planned and wanted, and I could not, you know, do the things that I wanted to do for my son. Like, I didn't want to cut his umbilical cord the first few minutes of his birth. I didn't want him to be washed. I didn't want him to be separated from me. Like, I didn't want him to have a lot of things that were done, but I couldn't really do nothing about it because I was drugged up and under anesthesia. So it was like I was dealing with a lot of grief, a lot of pain, a lot of resentment towards myself, towards other people who obviously, you know, had no intentions of doing this to me. It was just the way I was feeling in that moment. So I had to take a step back, and I called my mom and I just cried to my mom and I let her know what I was going through. And my mom let me know, like, listen, girl, we all been through this. I had 5 kids. you are not alone. What you're experiencing is something that most women experience, and you need to go easy on yourself. And she told me, you know what, fly home, and you know, I'll help you with the baby so you can get time to yourself. And that's exactly what I did. And honestly, that was the best thing that I could have done in that moment. It came a moment where I just broke down crying, and I just allowed myself to feel everything I was feeling. And after that, I felt better. And I'm not gonna say like everything just changed overnight. I still had my times when I would get frustrated or overwhelmed, but I knew that it would be better days and that this feeling wouldn't last forever. And that's basically how I, you know, got myself through that. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it's something that needs to be done consistently, because honestly, those negative thoughts that go through your mind is something that accumulated over a period of time. And just like it took a long time for you to develop those bad habits, those negative ways of thinking, it's gonna take a while to change those thoughts to positive ones. And it's not with just being a mom. If you're just a regular girl, you know, with no kids, and the same thing applies to you as well. As I have experienced being a mom, I'm coming to learn that it's a lot easier than I thought, and the pressure I put on myself was intense. Like I remember like literally looking at my phone, waiting for the time to feed Grayson, stepping over him to listen to him to see if he was breathing. When I tell you I was doing the most to make sure my son was okay, now that I look back, you know, I feel like my experience makes me appreciate things a lot more. And sometimes that's why things happen to us. Like I always say, life gives us about 2% of problems. The other 98 is how you respond. And how you respond determines everything else. And the way you perceive life also determines that as well. And what you surround yourself by, what you read, what you watch, who you hang with, also determines your reality. So switch it up, you know? And that's basically what I did. I had to switch my environment up. I had to surround myself by people who I felt were supporting me during that tough time. And although, you know, my boyfriend was very supportive, you know, it takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child and to help a woman go through this postpartum experience. But with that being said, you guys, I would not change it at all, because honestly, every little thing that I've been through throughout my pregnancy, throughout my labor and delivery, and just even after having Grayson, has taught me to be stronger, has taught me to appreciate my son and the moments that we have even more. I'm at a point in my life where I want to be the best mother I can be to Grayson, and I'm going to protect him at all costs. With that being said, you guys, like, I hope that I was really transparent and really vulnerable with you guys, because this was needed. You know, I needed to let this go. I needed to let you guys know. And I'm always going to use my testimony to show you guys, like, yeah, shit could get shitty, but it does get better. And although that we can't see the bigger picture in the moment, the bigger picture is there, and it's always going to work out in your favor. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to see you in my next video. And I promise next time I'm going to have Grayson with me. But today was a little too chilly and my baby was tired. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.